Every year, millions of tourists line up in front of Buckingham Palace in London to watch the iconic ceremonies. But what if I told you that these ceremonies are not just a show? Each step, each movement is shaped by a century of history and discipline. Today, I share with you the secrets, unknown details and surprising facts behind the Royal Guard ceremonies. If you are ready, here we go. Royal Guard ceremonies date back to the 17th century. These ceremonies, which first started during the reign of King Charles I, were organised to ensure the safety of the royal family and to show the power of the British monarchy to the world. Today, it has become both a tradition and a fascinating show for tourists. One of the most famous ceremonies is the changing of the guard. This ceremony takes place in front of Buckingham Palace every day. So how does this ceremony work? The guards set off from St James's Palace at 11 o'clock AM and march towards Buckingham Palace accompanied by drums. Each step, each movement is determined by a 400-year discipline, so much so that even the number of steps of the soldiers was calculated in advance. If you like discovering unknown aspects of the Royal Guards, subscribe to the channel and don't miss new videos by turning on the notification bell. Don't forget to like and comment. Please let me know what you think in the comments. Those iconic red uniforms and feathered hats are not just for show, they are a reflection of British history. For example, the colour red was chosen to intimidate the enemy on the battlefield. The feathered hats symbolise the victories won in the Napoleonic Wars. The music played at the ceremonies is not chosen randomly. The Royal Guards Band plays both traditional marches and popular songs. In the past, even songs by groups such as the Beatles and Queen have been played. This adds both seriousness and fun to the ceremonies. So how are the guards who take part in these ceremonies selected? To become a Royal Guard, at least 12 years of military experience is required. In addition, candidates spend months training to learn the steps of the ceremony perfectly. One mistake can spoil the whole atmosphere of the ceremony. Every gesture in the ceremonies has a meaning. For example, when the guards raise their swords in the air, it means an oath of allegiance to the crown. In addition, the saluting gesture during the changing of the guard conveys a message of respect and discipline. The guards must never laugh during the ceremonies, even if a tourist plays a joke on them. In addition, if a guard falls during the ceremony or the ceremony is disrupted, everything is corrected quietly and quickly, because these ceremonies are based on perfection. Royal Guard ceremonies attract millions of tourists to London every year, so much so that they queue hours in front of Buckingham Palace to get a seat. These ceremonies are not only a spectacle, but also a living representation of British culture. The guards must never laugh during the ceremonies, even if a tourist plays a joke on them. In addition, if a guard falls during the ceremony or the ceremony is disrupted, everything is corrected quietly and quickly, because these ceremonies are based on perfection. The guards must never laugh during the ceremonies, even if a tourist plays a joke on them. In addition, if a guard falls during the ceremony or the ceremony is disrupted, everything is corrected quietly and quickly, because these ceremonies are based on perfection. For example, in 2018, when a guard fainted during the ceremony, the other guards continued the ceremony as if nothing had happened. This is an example of the Royal Guard's discipline at its best. In addition, the guards are not supposed to move in any way during the guard duty. Whether it is raining, snowing or storming, the guards do not move. This is a testament to the rigorous training they undergo. The weapons used in Royal Guard ceremonies are not just symbolic. The ceremonial swords, for example, are historical artifacts made of real steel and carefully maintained. The rifles carried by the guards are also fully functional. However, these rifles are carried unloaded during the ceremonies. The details on the rifles reflect the history of the British Army. Especially the royal crests on the stocks of the rifles show how special these weapons are. The weapons used in Royal Guard ceremonies are not just symbolic. The ceremonial swords, for example, are historical artifacts made of real steel and carefully maintained. The rifles carried by the guards are also fully functional. However, these rifles are carried unloaded during the ceremonies. The details on the rifles reflect the history of the British Army. Especially the royal crests on the stocks of the rifles show how special these weapons are. The Royal Guards Band is one of the most important elements of the ceremonies. The band plays both traditional marches and popular songs. For example, in the past they have even played songs by groups such as the Beatles and Queen. This adds both seriousness and fun to the ceremonies. Also, the instruments used by the band are quite special. Each instrument is handmade and produced with years of experience. Band members undergo a disciplined training as much as the guards. Every gesture in the ceremonies has a meaning. For example, when the guards raise their swords in the air, it means an oath of allegiance to the crown. The salute during the changing of the guard also conveys a message of respect and discipline. The steps in the ceremonies are also not random. Each step is taken according to a specific rhythm and number. This shows how detailed the ceremonies are planned. On some special occasions, Royal Guard ceremonies become even more spectacular. For example, on important days such as the Queen's birthday or national holidays, extra troops join the ceremonies. The ceremonies are also longer and more elaborate on these days. Trooping the colour is one of the most important events of the year. This ceremony is of great importance for the British Army to display its flags and show its loyalty to the royal family. Tourists often try to interact with the guards while watching the Royal Guard ceremonies. However, the guards are never supposed to talk and laugh. This is an important rule to maintain the solemnity of the ceremonies. However, some tourists try various methods to make the guards laugh or distract them. For example, making funny gestures or telling jokes in front of the guards. However, such behaviour is usually ignored by the guards. The Royal Guard ceremonies are not only a spectacle, but also of great importance for the security of the royal family. During the ceremonies, the guards are surrounded by secret security guards. In addition, everyone who enters the parade ground is subjected to a strict security check. This ensures that the ceremonies take place safely. In addition, the weapons carried by the guards are kept ready for use at any time. Women guards also play an important role in the history of the Royal Guards. Especially in recent years, the number of female guards has been increasing. They undergo the same discipline and training as their male counterparts. In addition, the uniforms of the women guards are just as elaborate as those of their male counterparts. This is an example of the Royal Guards keeping pace with the modern world. Royal Guard ceremonies attract great interest not only in the UK, but also worldwide. Especially during state visits, Royal Guard ceremonies are presented to the leaders of other countries. These ceremonies are an important tool for strengthening Britain's relations with other countries. In addition, some countries organise their own ceremonies inspired by the Royal Guard ceremonies. Royal Guard ceremonies are a continuation of a centuries-old tradition. However, it is a matter of curiosity how these ceremonies will evolve in the modern world. Especially with the development of technology, new elements such as drones or holograms are on the agenda. However, no matter what happens, Royal Guard ceremonies will continue to be an indispensable part of British culture and history.